Hi everybody, I'm Lisa Young Sutton and welcome to my channel. Now in today's video I'd like to share a Grand Jeu Lenormand reading I just performed for a young woman who asked, what subconscious blocks am I ready to let go of in order to live my best life? Now the context she shared with me was that she considers herself to be a good person, yet she finds herself alone. She wants to help others, she wants to fit in, yet she's never felt that she truly did, right? She always feels like an outsider, like she's outside looking through a window, seeing others, enjoying each other's company and having fun, yet she's not part of it. She said she doesn't have any close friends and she keeps her distance from most of her family. So she asked if the cards could shed some light on why she finds herself so alone when she really doesn't want to be. Now, this is a perfect question for this system. The Grand Jeu Lenormand really shines with shadow work. I mean, you could call this shadow work. Shadow work is anytime we delve into our subconscious to see what's, lurking in there that we don't really address consciously, but is running the show, so to speak. The subconscious really runs our lives, So, yeah, the Astro Mythological Grand Jeu Lenormand is just perfect for these questions. Look at this gorgeous hawk feather that I found this morning when I was out in the field behind my house, walking Beaker, and all of a sudden it just floated down. Yeah, and I thought that was just so incredible after waking up last night and seeing 11:11, and yeah, I love all those signs. I'm always asking for them and I always get them. Okay, so I drew the 10 of spades as the main card, placed it in the center. Then I drew the Jack of diamonds and placed it to my left, and the Jack of hearts and placed it to my right. So what's the first thing we can see in this spread? Well, the main card references challenges, obstacles, and problems. It's a spade. And they are challenges that have reached their pinnacle and are ready to be released. We get that from a 10. Now, when you see a 10, you know there's no place to go but to a new beginning. And you tarot readers and playing card readers know that. So the cartomantic meaning of the 10 of spades references the negative emotions associated with the unfortunate events in life. Emotions such as fear and worry, sadness, disappointment, depression. Okay, this card can reveal hang-ups and fears that block us from reaching our goals. And isn't that exactly what she's experiencing and what she's asking about, right? It can reference suspicions and feeling betrayed or being betrayed. Within the context of this reading, this is all about her feelings, what she feels is reality, not what is. So we are going to examine it within that context. So this card really sums up the overall vibe of the whole reading. Now on either side, notice that we have a jack on either side of the card, okay? So we can look at the jacks as the number 11 as well as people. So the number 11 is a power number that relates to potentials rather than results. Didn't I just say I saw 11:11 again last night? Yeah, I used to see it all the time, and then I hadn't really seen it in a while, and last night it showed up again, and it meant something to me, but we're not going to go into that. We're going to stick to the reading here. So yes, it's a power number that relates to potentials rather than results. And in that way, these cards are showing not what has happened or what will definitely happen, but what has the potential to happen. So we can right away look at these outer cards as her potentials. Okay, this could be like potentially what is standing against her, what is, an external force. And this is potentially how she should look at it and what she can do about it and where it'll go, that kind of thing. All right. So now if we look at the jacks as people, we can see good and bad aspects that may be beneficial or detrimental to her goal. Jacks can indicate inferiority complexes. self-absorption, which may be hidden by arrogance, defiance, and cockiness. And of all of that, I was definitely thinking inferiority complex. Maybe a little self-absorption too, but I was kind of leaning toward inferiority. Okay, so they may also represent originality of thought and the discarding of conventional values. So now I was telling her all this just to see, throwing it all at the wall, so to speak, to see what sticks. And the discarding of conventional values meant something to her. So, even if it doesn't mean anything to you as the reader, make sure you pass on everything to your clients, to your seeker. All right? So the center card provides us with the primary answer to the question, as well as representing the seeker. And this does definitely represent her. And this card, the Grand Jeu, 10 of Spades, represents distrust and deception. So in the main image here, we see Laverna, the Roman goddess of thieves, con men, plagiarists, and charlatans walking amongst wolves. Yes, those are supposed to be wolves. I know this one looks like a pig. Anyway, so the wolves on the card can represent other people or may symbolize the shadow side or darker aspects of our subconscious. So Laverna was originally a goddess of the night, with close ties to both the witch goddess Diana and the Etruscan goddess Farina. So the Romans considered her one of the gods below, or deities of the underworld. And Laverna became associated with those who used the cover of darkness to hide their shady activities. Ooh. So as such, the main image on this card represents distrust and warns or displays the seeker's need to protect themselves. Take note of that, because in your readings, depending on what the seeker is asking, these cards can be showing what is happening or warning what might be happening, or they can simply be displaying what's going on in the seeker's own subconscious, which is what we're dealing with here. So she feels she needs to protect herself. She feels she's surrounded by wolves, right? So the fear of being attacked or robbed is causing anxiety in her, all right? And it prevents her from moving comfortably among others, all right? Now, remembering that she asked what subconscious blocks she should release, the seeker needs to let go of this idea. She needs to let go of thinking that she's surrounded by wolves, let go of the belief that others are manipulating her. This also tells her to stop allowing others to influence her to the point where she can't make a move without someone's approval. And then she resents people for that, because she's really not living her own life, and she wants to please others, but just can't seem to. And then she's resentful, and then retreats again into her aloneness. Okay, so now the constellation. The constellation is called the Fox and represents difficulties, but ones with expectations to overcome. So there's a part of her that knows she can release her demons, that and then that is coming from her higher self that whispers in her ear whenever she quiets her mind enough to hear it. The letter X, from that we get the ideas of doubtful inclinations and illusion. Not illusion, illusion. All right, a propensity to doubt yourself and doubt others causes you to become distrustful, right? Illusion is defined as the act of wrongly perceiving a situation or a misinterpretation of your senses. That's illusion. And from this, we get the impression that she's not justified in her fears, okay? Now, we also have a geomantic symbol on this card. It's called conjuncto, and it refers to interaction, and it's the symbol of recovering lost things. Okay, I thought that was so cool. In this case, the seeker needs to recover her lost trust and faith in her fellow humans. All right, so you can see how it's all coming together. These cards are amazing. Oh, I get so excited. All right, so the flowers displayed on this card suggest betrayed feelings, but also available protection. Now, if we break them down, we have grass, saxifrage, and garcinia, or monkey flower. So grass refers to submission, accepting or yielding to superior forces, as well as utility, which is functional rather than ornamental or attractive, and making a fresh start. Those are all the meanings of grass, okay? Saxifrage refers to affection, but not the modern usage of the word as in fondness, but I'm going with the archaic meaning of affecting or being affected by. Okay? Now the garcinia or monkey flower symbolizes the expression of hidden emotions. Okay? So you put them together and the bouquet refers to accepting or yielding to the hidden emotions that are affecting us. This suggests, as does the letter X, that any danger is wrongly perceived in this situation, or at the least that she is protected from harm and need not be overly worried. She's always worrying what others are thinking and all of that. And this card is saying, stop doing that. You do not have to do that, sweetie. You are safe. Okay, so the small images, let's look at them. They point out that she has a hard time trusting others and feels they're not only waiting to pounce, but are envious and talking behind her back, stealing her self-confidence. Right? Ready to pounce, stealing from her. Okay, so the small image on the left shows a fox stealing a chicken in broad daylight, right out in the middle of the open, in the courtyard, right? So here the chicken is kind of like, no matter where you are, even in broad daylight, in your yard or whatever, you're not safe. It's that kind of feeling. So here the chicken represents the seeker. Okay, she feels she's being watched by those who are close to her, not to help or support her, but to steal what's hers at the first opportunity. All right, now that connects to the Jack of Diamonds small image right, which shows a row of armed soldiers standing at attention, at the ready. All right, so the card that falls in this position over here, it represents the outside or hidden forces that are working against this situation being asked about, okay? So the Jack represents the use of intellect. The Jack of Diamonds represents the use of intellect to achieve your goals, but more importantly indicates that intellect, when combined with that spark of inspiration we receive when we trust that we're connected to something much bigger than our individual selves, can accomplish anything. And that is why that's included on this card. Now, when the small image this small image right, this row of soldiers, when this is in play in a reading, you must ask yourself, what is opposing you? Or within this context, it might be better to ask, what is she opposed to? All right, or what does she believe is opposing her? I mean, she believes she needs to be on guard because everyone is standing against her, blocking her from what she wants, standing in her way. She's afraid of underestimating her opponents, okay? And that's a big part of this card. Why is she seeing others as her opponents in the first place? If she would begin to see others as opportunities rather than opponents, okay, she'll begin to see the world differently and doors will begin to open. Remember that law of attraction, okay? If you are looking at all doors as being closed, then they will be, okay? If you start looking at them as all being open, they will be. All right, so rather than jumping into battle, the Jack of Diamonds tells her that she will be successful in life if she uses her intellect to plan her steps regardless of what others are doing or thinking of her plans. So this card speaks of creative ways to get what you want, following divine guidance as well as intellect. It's combining objective reasoning, the intellect, with subjective ideas, creativity and intuition. So it also has the ideas of employing teamwork. Okay, that's a big part of this card, employing teamwork, getting others to work with you, rather than against you, or you know, learning to work with others rather than working against them. Okay, so now let's see. So let's look at the small image right here. So the small image right on the center card, we see a woman searching a drawer. Okay, this image represents deception of a more personal nature than this image. Okay, in other words, this person has access to your drawers, to your most intimate areas. Okay, so yeah, so betrayal of one who is close to you brings suspicions that weigh heavily, destroying your confidence. That's one of the meanings of that little image there. Now, when you see that image, think of someone stealing something or losing something that is close to your heart by one who has access, as I said, to your drawers. Yeah. So we're going to connect this with the small image from the card that touches it, which is the Jack of Hearts. Now, this card, the card that falls in this position, provides the seeker with a course of action or a way to think about the situation. And the Jack of Hearts is a card of a defiant child. The Jack of Hearts in this system, this is Dionysus with his father Zeus, okay? So, yeah, Dionysus, also known as Bacchus in Roman mythology, in this image here, he accepts advice from his father, okay, Zeus, but he doesn't really want it. All right, he doesn't really want it, and he doesn't. In the end, he doesn't take it. Right? I mean, in the end, this Jack of Hearts, always does what he wants. Okay, so he's more interested in earthly pleasures, right? Not realizing there's more to life, we could say. He's feeding his mortal self, but not his divine. I mean, we could discuss a lot about him, Dionysus, and he's a very interesting character. All right, so the small image left here, you see a candelabra, or is that just no, it's just a candle, with moths flying around the flame, right? Moths to a flame. So it represents fickleness and fluctuating loyalties, interests, and affections. Like the butterflies you feel in the pit of your stomach due to anxiety, at the thought of limitation or restriction, possibly. You know, I'm linking it to her question. So I asked the seeker if she only enjoys the company of others when they act as she wants them to, when they please her, when they agree with her. And she said, who doesn't? Which is true, yeah. But I said, let's dig deeper. Yes, everybody likes that, but is there still room for them? I'll go back to her. In her life, I asked, is there still room for them in your life, okay, when they disagree with you or do things that are contrary to what you want them to do or what you believe they should do? Do they serve any other purpose than pleasing you or stroking your ego? Is there any room in your life for other people just, being human beings? So she wasn't sure how to answer that. And she said she would have to think about that one, but that did strike a nerve. All right, so also this image represents being thoughtless and not keeping your promises. Okay, so could it be that she attracts dishonest people into her life like moths to a flame because she herself is dishonest? Not necessarily with others, but possibly just with herself. Okay? Does she keep her promises to others and to herself? Does she only have time for people when she wants something from them? Is she guilty of only thinking of herself and never taking a moment to consider another person's position? So I asked her to consider that she may be treating every person she encounters as nothing more than a means to an end, right? Be it material gain, a sense of power, physical pleasure, or some form of ego gratification, in which case their human beingness is of secondary importance to her or of no importance at all. Okay, and at that point she went, wow. Yeah. So we can see that what she needs to let go of is her back and forth feelings, right? Her fickleness. Her back and forth feelings of wanting to trust herself and then finding fault with herself, wanting to have faith and then losing it, wanting to allow others into her life and then retreating out of, unfounded fears. She's been far too fickle, switching loyalties at the drop of a hat, as well as being impulsive in that she's too quick to react to life based on learned patterns of behavior, rather than becoming a more passive observer of life, which would provide her with the time and clear-mindedness to respond to others from a higher perspective. Her loyalty to, trust in, and affection for herself first will enable her to finally, as a natural consequence, trust in and remain loyal to others, right? So she has to find this love for herself first, this loyalty to herself first, before she can share that with anyone else. She needs to lay down her weapons, okay? She needs to lay down her weapons and start to see others as wanting exactly what she wants and feeling what she feels at varying degrees. She must stop seeing them as opposing forces, all right? And begin to see them as complementary components, like fitting together with her forces to create what she wants, which is at the same time what those who have been placed in her path want as well. All right, people are attracted to each other because they are complementary components. Each can help each other get what they want. All right, that's synchronicities. The universe does that. All right, so notice the small images that she'll have access to if she removes the blocks of the inner images. Okay, let me say that again, because I'm looking at this and I'm seeing something new here. Look at these two inner images that connect to her main card, and notice that they are both kind of, creating a blockage of some sort to prevent the seeker from getting to these outer images, which are where she really wants to be. Okay, right? She wants access to divine guidance on the left here, and she wants abundance and good fortune. That's the cornucopia on the right. Wow. I just noticed that. Okay, so that's it for today's video, my friends. Thanks as always for watching. For more fun with the Grand Jeu Lenormand, join my Lisa Loves Lenormand Facebook group and catch my presentation next month at the World Divination Association Lenormand Summit. For now, go play with your cards. Bye, everybody.